Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Once again, welcome back to the Verk Presents Hockey Cards, TVP Hockey Cards. And I had done a video reviewing the checklist for Series 1 for Upper Deck that just came out the other day. There's only a few images that have been released so far of some of the cards. And of course, I discussed Trevor Zegras as being the most valuable in Series 1. There's also the Spencer Knight card that you want to get. Cole Caulfield card is the one that people have known about for months. And Jeremy Swayman is the other picture that Upper Deck has up on their site. So those are the four that we have access to right now. However, in this video, what I was going to discuss is a bunch of the names in terms of rookies. There's a lot of names missing in Series 1 that we don't know if they're going to, we can't even assume that they're all going to be in Series 2, because I find it hard to believe that Upper Deck would load up Series 1 with a lot of the no names and just totally jack up Series 2 with a lot of studs. But there's a lot of guys that I'm going to run through. And so for Series 2, the three big names that for sure are going to be in that series, you would have to assume, there's no way they won't be. It's going to be Quinton Byfield, Moritz Seider, and Lucas Raymond of the Detroit Red Wings. So the LA Kings stud forward, Byfield, who was taken right after Laffy a couple of years ago in the NHL draft, just scored his first NHL goal the other day. I'm sure that's first of many. He is probably by far the best prospect in terms of upside. He's up, again, he hasn't done anything in the league yet compared to some of these other guys that have already put up big numbers, which includes Lucas Raymond. I mean, Raymond has ripped it up in Detroit. Moritz Seider makes Stevie Y look like a genius, because when he got drafted, people were wondering, who is this guy? And Seider is already playing crazy minutes for the Red Wings. He's already their best defenseman and looks like a guy that's been around in the league for a number of years. And those three cards are going to be very valuable, and I would be shocked if they're not in Series 2. I would expect all three. The only reason I'm saying that is because of the extended series that the Upper Deck folks released last season. I wonder if they'll do that again, and because of that, they're trying to spread out some of these names to have more guys in there that have some value. So that's why some of these names that I'm going to discuss, I don't know if they'll be in Series 2 or if they'll be in the extended series. And there's also a chance that some of these guys just might not be in any of those series at all, and maybe they're pushing back to next year. So the big three to me are Raymond, Seider, and Byfield. A couple of other guys that I think are going to be higher end cards that should be in Series 2. Florida Panthers forward Anton Lundell. He has been absolutely awesome for the Panthers. Been playing on a third line role. He does play penalty kill. He's getting some power play time now. He's actually done really well recently, putting out 15 points in his last 15 games. Playing on the third line behind Barkov and Bennett. But he does play on the PK with Barkov, and just recently Sam Reinhart got moved to his line. And so he, to me, is going to be another solid young gun card that's going to be valuable and should be in Series 2. And the other guy that I could think of being in Series 2 is going to be Seth Jarvis of the Carolina Hurricanes. He's been pretty productive in limited amount of ice time. He recently got promoted to the top line, playing with Sebastian Aho and Teuvo Teravainen. So that's the best situation that you could be in. And because of that, I think he's going to have a regular role for the rest of the season, and he should show up in Series 2 as well. A couple of guys that I think any other year would be on that bubble where they could be in Series 2, maybe not. So I'm part of me thinks they might be held back for the extended series. That's Cole Perfetti of the Winnipeg Jets and Matthew Boldy of the Minnesota Wild. They're part of that COVID taxi squad where they got called up, and Boldy has done really well. He's only played 7 games. He's already put up 6 points. He's on, a regular power play shift on the top unit. He's playing second line with Kevin Fiala. And so Boldy, to me, might be kind of one of the main guys for what I'm thinking is extended series. I really hope it's in Series 2. I really don't want an extended series. It would be awesome if all these guys were just in Series 2, which I highly doubt. And the other guy that I think he only played 1 game and he got sent back down was Marco Rossi, another, stud for the Minnesota Wild. Part of me thinks he won't be in any of these series and probably will get pushed back to next season. Some other guys that weren't in Series 1 but have had regular roles this year. I'm thinking of Cole Sillinger for the Columbus Blue Jackets. He's played some top 6 minutes here and there. Dawson Mercer started up on fire for the Devils and he slowed down, but he's still playing, I think, on the third line for them. He's been a regular all season. Same with Vasily Podkolzin of the Vancouver Canucks. He's been a top 9 forward all season. Not really much in terms of points or productivity. However, the fact that he's getting an opportunity to play has been, a welcome sight for them. And again, these guys, Sillinger and Podkolzin, are top end picks, right? I think they were top 10, top 12. Another guy that made his debut for a couple of games, just like Rossi, that got sent back down, is Jack Quinn of the Buffalo Sabres. He, to me, is probably, again, one of those guys like how Boldy is that might be in Series 2, but most likely in the extended series. Braden Schneider of the Rangers, defenseman. He might get some power play time now and might get some actual more ice time with Adam Fox just getting hurt the other night. And so Schneider, he scored a goal. He's already got a couple of points in a limited amount of action. And so he's a guy that was a first-round pick that might be in one of the future series. A few other guys that have kind of struggled, but they're high-end picks and top 10 picks that eventually should be showing up sooner or later. Kings prospect Alex Turcotte, he had been taken 5th overall a few years ago. And another guy that's a high-end guy was for the Devils is Alexander Holtz. Both of them have not really put up big numbers. However, they're, of course, going to be anchors of future series, you would expect. A few other guys to mention is Philip Tomasino of the Nashville Predators, as well as Scott Perinovich, a defenseman for the St. Louis Blues, and Niels Lundqvist of the Rangers, another defenseman. They all should get cards in the future. And finally, the only other guy that I could think of in terms of for this year that's playing regularly that hasn't had a card yet is, of course, Alex Newhook of the Colorado Avalanche. Another guy that has potential to be a high-end forward. Hasn't shown much now, but eventually down the road it's possible. Now, like I was mentioning, I think before in the other video, there's a bunch of guys that were high-end picks in 2021, and none of them are playing. I think Sillinger might be the only guy that kind of got like a regular role. But Dylan Guenther, Matty Beniers, Owen Power, Kent Johnson, Luke Hughes, and Jake Sanderson. Sanderson was picked in a different draft. He wasn't from last year's draft, but they're all guys that are high in talents. At least we know Upper Deck won't have cards for this season, that they'll all probably show up in 2022-23. So a few other guys that should be in that for goalies is Jesper Wallstedt of the Minnesota Wild and Sebastian Cossa of the Detroit Red Wings. Both are probably considered two of the better goalie prospects. Probably not going to show up until next season. And speaking of goalies, one guy that looks like he's going to turn out to be a valuable player is the St. Louis Blues goaltender Ville Husso. He has been playing really well, and to me, I think he's going to take over the starting job from Jordan Binnington. And he will probably be a card that turns out to be in high demand and definitely should be in Series 2. So that's a lot of names considering what Series 1 had. And I mean, Series 1 had a few cards that are, valuable. Like you got Caulfield, Zegras, Knight, Swayman, and Drysdale are the top 5 to me. But man, Series 2, when you think about it, with Raymond, Sider, Byfield, Lundell, and Jarvis already being kind of a given, a bunch of these other younger guys that should, at least some of them, be in that series is going to be awesome. A couple other guys that actually were taken last year that played, limited amount of games to start the season before they got sent down. That should be studs in the future. William Eklund of the San Jose Sharks. He, at one point, the way he was started the season looked like he might actually stick, but of course, why burn his entry-level deal? And also Mason McTavish. He's going to the Olympics for Team Canada, I believe, or he's on the taxi squad or something. He's involved in Team Canada somehow. But I think, he's a 3rd overall pick for the Ducks, another kid that's going to be a stud in the future. So there's a lot of guys that are out there that don't have cards yet. And not only that, next season, Shane Wright should be involved. The year after, we got Connor Bedard. So there's a couple of elite names coming up in terms of guys that should be anchors for future series. So part of me thinks that just like how in Series 2 a couple of years ago where the Makar card was the main card, usually it's Series 1 for the most part always trumps Series 2. But in this case, it looks like Series 2 is going to have a lot of good players. So that's it for this one. Again, like and subscribe. If you have any questions, you can send an email to tvp.cards@gmail.com if there's something you want me to review specifically in terms of cards for the Young Gun series. please let me know. But otherwise, keep watching for more content in the near future. Thanks again. Peace.